about that we're explorers, that we're really building towards a new tomorrow. And today we'll show you a little bit about what that looks like. So we are a fairly new company, but actually there is a rich heritage beyond our company. So here you see an example, a picture of our company CEO, Ilham Kadri, who is actually celebrating the officially listing of our shares on Euronext Brussels and Paris. This is 1 year ago in December 2023, so not that long ago. But as I mentioned, we do have this rich history and heritage that actually goes back 160 years. And this is the moment where it all started. So this is the Solvay conference in 1911, so 160 years ago. And this conference was organized by our founder, Ernest Solvay. And he actually had this meeting where all of the greatest minds in science all came together. So you actually see in the picture here, you see Albert Einstein and Marie Curie. And this was actually the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. So definitely not the first people, and definitely the people that were actually thinking to have this explorer's mindset, to have this forward-thinking mindset as well, really being able to think of new solutions. And this is also the spirit that later actually created Syensqo, and that we still have this same, I guess, way of thinking, really this way of explorers and really unraveling the mysteries of the universe. So today in Syensqo, we still aim to bring those great minds together and to push the limits of science together. Then what's in the name? So you might, when you see this name written, you might be wondering, how do I pronounce this? So it's Syensqo. And actually the main takeaway here is that we are a science company, and it's really our ambition to continue pioneering scientific breakthroughs. That's the key here. Then there's some little hints. So for instance, SY refers to the first and the last letters of Solvay, the company that we originated from. Then there's also the ENS, which refers to our Ernest Solvay. So that's our founder. And then the Q that stands for quantum physics, which was discussed at that Solvay conference that I just showed you the image from. Then it's time for a little bit of interaction. So I'm actually curious to hear from you if you can guess what these numbers stand for. So we have 13,200, we have 62 and 12. And you can let me know in the chats what you think these numbers are related to.
Yes, you can answer in the chat for what you think these numbers are. Let's just wait for their time.
Yeah. Genesis, can you read a few of the answers out when they're coming in?
Sure. 13,200 employees across 62 offices and 12 countries. Employees, countries, regions, people, offices, countries. Yeah.
Okay, people are on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's reveal the answer. Indeed, 13,200 employees. So we have basically over 13,000 explorers located in 30 countries. So the 62 was not the countries, but it's actually the industrial sites. And then we have 12 major R&I centers. And actually a fun fact is that 15% of our people work in R&I. So it shows you that we're well spread over the world. A little bit more about where we are located. So we have 3 regional hubs, one in North America, one in Asia, and one in Europe. And we have the strongest presence in the US. Most of our sales is located there, and also most of our industrial sites are located there. And the second one being the Asia, and the third Europe, with also still a very strong presence. And then on top of it, of course, we have the 13,000 explorers working from 30 different countries. So we are widely spread. I mentioned to you earlier that Syensqo was born from this vision of innovation and growth. And really, the idea behind all of our solutions, behind all of our products, is that it enhances the way that we live, work, travel, and play. So our solutions are really built with the aim to help building a cleaner and greener future for all. A few of the products that you can find us in. So first of all, in almost every vehicle that flies, you'll be able to find our products. So we actually work on the materials for lightweight and high-performing materials in airplanes, and that enables more sustainable aerospace. You can also find us in 50% of the electric vehicles. So we actually create the materials for rechargeable batteries, and our materials then help to make those batteries lighter and more durable. So that actually makes cars for better performance, so higher performance and shorter charging times of those batteries. And then you can also find us in 25% of all shampoos. So we're probably in your bathroom somewhere as well. And here you can see an overview of how broad our product portfolio really is and the variety of markets that we serve, and that we have a strong presence in most of these key markets as well. So Syensqo is actually in the top 3 market position across 90% of our product portfolio. So here you see a few of those strongest market outlined. And again, the goal behind all of our solutions is to really bring more circular solutions to make a more sustainable future and a circular economy possible. That is really the common denominator. So a few examples, and again, highlighting some of our biggest markets that we work for. One of which is the automotive market. So Syensqo develops innovative materials and solutions for motorsport. So for instance, over the last 20 years, every single Formula One world drivers champion was actually driving a vehicle, probably most with almost entirely Syensqo components. So this is a really cool fun fact. Then also we're working with the agricultural and feed industry. And here we are helping to shape the arrival of agriculture 4.0. So really working on the future of farming with offering different solutions with which we can improve basically the productivity of the agricultural industry. So offering solutions that enable better plant nutrition, crop protection, and seed care. And with this, we're working to save and conserve the resources of water, land, and energy. And then there's also another product that you will use on a daily basis. So we contribute to sustainable products for smart devices. So for instance, for your phones and your tablets, our materials are present in the touchscreens under the surface of your smart device. And our specialty polymers can be found in electronic devices, display and lighting elements, and 5G networks. And a very important one, we're also found in consumer goods and food industry. So for instance, here you see the example, we are the world's largest producer of vanillin, and you can find this in food products like Nutella. This is a very important one. And vanillin is a natural substitute for vanilla. So you have heard it in the presentation a number of times, this idea of explorers. So I'm actually curious to hear, before we tell you what we see as being an explorer in Syensqo, what it looks like. I'm curious to hear from you what you would see as being an explorer. So you can let us know in the chat. You can also unmute yourself. So curious to hear from you.
Okay. Let's go, and we can respond to the question, what does being an explorer mean to you, in the chat, or if you guys want to join and open your camera, you can do that as well. Okay, let's see. Very interesting topic so far. And if you have any question as well, you can put it here. Breaking boundaries from Fernanda.
Love it.
Providing solutions for mobility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's keep it coming. Preparing for challenges, an explorer embodies a sense of curiosity and a desire to seek out new knowledge, experiences, and solutions. Okay. Exploring new paths. I think being an explorer for me personally means to creatively express ideas, work on it without boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Going to uncharted territories.
Ooh. All very adventurous. I like it.
Yeah.
Good. So feel free to keep your input coming. In the meantime, I'm going to share a little bit about how we see explorers. So I think the key here is that everyone will bring their own definition of what being an explorer looks like. So that's the main thing, and it will also depend on the role that you have in Syensqo, what it looks like. But in general, it always comes back to this idea of pioneering and about embracing the unknown, being driven by curiosity and really looking for those groundbreaking ideas that have the power to shape the future. So you were all really spot on with your answers. So creating breakthroughs, this is actually, it goes back again to that very first conference where there were already solutions being created, there were ideas being brought that were really shaping the future. So we really seek those transformative innovations where we're really pushing the boundaries of what's possible and challenging what is happening in the status quo. And then that advanced humanity, this is really where we're working towards in everything that we do. So this is our North Star and this is our mission. So really through that groundbreaking research and innovative technologies, this is really how we strive to make a meaningful impact in the world. And then calling all explorers. So actually, we're here with a bunch of explorers today, and our job in talent attraction and for me, employer branding is really to find those explorers of tomorrow. So if you feel like this is you, that you're ready for looking beyond what is right in front of you, but looking for new ways of doing things and looking for new solutions, creating new solutions, then we're really happy to talk with you. Feel free again to stop by our booth and come and chat. I think the main thing that I want to call out here is to be able to come up with really interesting solutions. We need people from different backgrounds with different views on the world, and that really brings us to those unique perspectives on the world and to those best solutions. So that's the key. We need diverse teams that we can all bring different ideas together and come to the best solutions together. We see here people from many horizons who dream the impossible, and I think that's a really nice segue towards Vincent, because he is definitely working on a number of projects that are nearly dreaming the impossible, but I think the impossible will be possible very soon. So I want to hand it over to you, Vincent.
Thank you very much, Rose. Hi, everyone. And I was actually brainstorming in my head when you had the question about what does explorer means. And I think my answer would be trying to see beyond the horizon. That would be my way of seeing it. But I love the answers and what has been shared on the chat. I think it was super inspiring. So what I'm going to do is give you a bit of a personal touch about as well who am I, what I've done, so that you understand my path, my journey inside the company, and then to give you a bit of my definition about where we want to explore and where we're leading the way day after day in the company. So if you can move to the next slide, Rose. So I will start with that because that's actually how I started my journey. So I have a business background, so I was doing quite a lot of different activities. I'll always love coding, so you will see I will get back to that. But I did not want to work for a big company as soon as I graduated, because I was like, I don't know. I'm not really convinced that this is my path. So what I've done is join Solar Impulse, this project, which was sponsored by a company, and our company was a main partner of it. And I can tell you this, I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but picking that picture over the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, I think gives you a sum up of what it was. It was the ambition to fly around the world with a solar airplane, which is something that nobody had done. And we had to, Rose's point, to make this impossible possible. And I can tell you it was a tough one. It was very challenging. So we started from Abu Dhabi, went to India, China, Japan, US, well, Hawaii, then West Coast, East Coast, then back to Europe in Madrid, not in Madrid, sorry, in Sevilla, in Spain, and then Egypt, and then back to Abu Dhabi. So that's something that took us a bit more 10 years to build, to achieve, to make that first flight around the world. And personally, I learned so much. I mean, it was an amazing time to meet, to discover, to try, to really understand how technologies, the one Rose presented, are really useful to make that challenge happen, because you need to ensure that you have a plane that is light but performant, that you can maximize the energy, the output, and so on. And it was a hell of a journey, a super positive one, full of passion and energy. And I'm really happy. So if you move to the next slide, Rose, that's something that sticks to us. And even though on my side, I worked in marketing communications, I moved into our research team, I moved inside the digital teams. Still, when Syensqo was created, so back to this timeline as well that was presented to you, our CEO, Ilham Kadri, made the choice to sign a partnership with Climate Impulse. So Climate Impulse is coming from the same energy and the same vision, coming from the Swiss explorer Bertrand Piccard, to say that we can use symbols to impact people and to try to change the mindset. And this one is a bit different. So it's still a plane. So, on my side, I'm in my comfort zone. I know what it is. But this plane will be full of hydrogen. And here the intention is to fly nonstop around the world in 8 to 9 days. So if you've read as well The Adventures of Jules Verne, the French writer, it goes inside that spirit. It's trying to imagine a future that does not exist today. I hope you've watched the amazing images from SpaceX, what they've just succeeded to do over the weekend. I think it's mind-blowing, and you see those type of achievements when you have the right people that are around the table. And this is what we want to do with Climate Impulse. So leveraging our technologies to support. And at the same time, it's not only about technology, because it's an ecological, it's a human adventure, and we want to ensure, we're a part of it, and that we leverage all the 13,000 explorers as well that we have in the company to, find ideas to support the project and make it happen. So a bit more details if you move to the next slide. What are we talking about? So here I'm just showing a picture that was taken a few days ago, where you see our CEO with the two pilots, and as well our main partners. So the plane is built in France. You see the cockpit on the left side of the picture. It was just done with our composite material. So it's really fresh out of the oven of Syensqo. It has been cooked by our teams. And what you see on the right side is what we want to build. So it's a 30-meter wingspan plane. So what does it mean? It's like a small Airbus or a small Boeing that you can travel with if you want to, go for a weekend or anything. It has the idea, the most critical part, is the one that is in orange that you see in dotted lines, and just added on the left. It's the more technical, the most important technical challenge we need to overcome is to ensure that we can have liquid hydrogen in this plane, in this hydrogen tank at minus 250 Celsius degrees. And that's, nobody has done it. If I'm back to the SpaceX journey, they're very good at putting hydrogen or other type of liquid and then burning them, and then you go to space. On our side is to maintain it during 8 days to 9 days. It's it's an impossible technology feat that has not yet been done, and we want to work on that, and that's something our teams are starting to do. And we need to ensure that the plane, the test flights, and everything goes well to be able to attempt this round-the-world flight. So there are the KPIs and so on here on what the plane will look like, but I can tell you it's an amazing adventure where you are sure on Monday you find an idea, a solution, and then on Tuesday you have another feedback. Wednesday you need to restart from scratch. Thursday you're like, hey, I have another idea. Thursday afternoon, no, it doesn't work. And Friday, finally, you find the right solution. This is kind of a bit of my journey and how we work with the team. So it's a really exciting and fascinating time. And I hope that you will follow this project, that you will follow the adventure, because it goes way beyond Syensqo. I think as well, we presented you, we're here to advance humanity. So it's not only about us, our role inside of it, but it's about what it can trigger and how it can bring a bit of hope, to our planet, to what's happening around us. And we do believe that, we have answers to the tremendous challenges that exist around us. And this is where we're exploring, and we are trying to be useful and to bring our support to make that happen. So here I gave you an idea of a climate impulse and solar impulse. So crazy adventures, planes, where technologies can be supportive, but at the end of the day, in order to make it happen, you need to be ready to drop your conviction, what you know, and to relearn and to try something else. So you need to talk to a lot of people and so on. And if you move to the next slide, Rose, it's okay. I propose I skip this one because that's a bit of the timeline, but that's okay. I think you can find all the relevant information online if you are curious and you want a deep dive. But here I wanted to bring you back as well to the introduction, because the other hat of the company, and you can ask me what's the link between the two. Well, concretely, there is no link, but the interest and the curiosity, which is a big driver for me. Here I'm switching to AI, and today, and I'm sure you are all, playing with it, having fun with the ChatGPT of this world, and really looking at everything that's happening around us. And you might be super proficient on the field and way better at the topic than I am. But what we want to do at Syensqo is like, okay, that's another field that can be so powerful to reinvent us, to really ensure that we can be in position to support, to accelerate, and to change the way we've been operated. We've presented, again, Syensqo coming from a very strong, amazing legacy with a lot of scientific history. So what we've done with Syensqo.ai, which is the team we just created back in March, and that I'm really happy to lead, is we created our own ChatGPT that we call SiteGPT. It's protected, cyber secured, and everything. And we've just deployed that in 3 months. And I can tell you that the feedback we get. And the reason why we wanted to do it, because, we're a science company and we take no risk when it comes to the information that we control. And here the picture that you have, I love it. It's taken in our labs. So you see two of our scientists that are using SiteGPT. So they are using generative AI really in the field of the research operation that they do. And I think it's a super important picture, because that's a true testimony towards how we see AI useful for a company like us. Is we want to have all our explorers being in capacity to play and leverage that technology, because we do believe that there is no one single truth, and there is so much elements done in Europe, in the US or in China about AI, that there is no one good answer. But what we need is to test, be curious, be very clear that we want to learn from that, and that will be very as well laser sharp on where we want to focus our attention as a company, because we're neither the Google of this planet or the Amazon or everything. So we need to be sure that what we do has a positive impact for all explorers and for all our company. I see the question. I will treat it right after, because I have actually just one more slide to cover, which is to go deep more details about what does it mean for Syensqo.ai and how we really leverage AI. So what I told you is it's been 6 months that we are up and running. So new team, our company is like 10 months old. We're 6 months old. We have the chance to have our CEO that is really present on the topic. She's driving the dialogue, and I love that. It's super exciting and challenging. But at the same time, we want to ensure that we deploy. So we delivered 29 use cases. I just wanted to give you a few data points. So it means that 29 AI topics have been gone live in the company. We are working on 4 main projects, SiteGPT being one of them. And at the same time, we stopped. And I think this is part of being an explorer. You know, you accept that what you do doesn't fly, doesn't work like a startup. Okay, we tried, doesn't work, we stop. So this is what we're aiming at do. And I hope at the same time that this figure will rise as we go, because what you can see as well is that we discuss with everybody in the company, and we have 335 use cases. So ideas from colleagues that where they would love to test and deploy AI. So if I look at the way the speed at which we work, it's kind of a 5 or 6 years of work. So we will never take that time to do so, but just a flavor of where we are as well, looking at working with the ecosystem part, with the ecosystem, with outside companies, and with a lot of talents, just to ensure that we can make it happen. Because again, that's a field that is moving so fast, and we're pretty humble about how that we want to tackle it. And finally, just another hint on where we're using it. We are now starting with one of our business team to look at how can we support the sales team to be, better sales, better hunters, finding the best deal for our customers. And the deal is not only about value, it's as well about the solutions and the quality, the sustainability that we bring to all of them. So yeah, that's a bit in a nutshell what I wanted to show you. So my 2 hats, and I can tell you I'm enjoying the ride, and between those 2 parts, from an adventure of a hydrogen plane to AI. So yeah, that's a bit the context. And I've seen that there were a bit of questions. So
yeah, there are actually questions that came in. One from Ivan. He's asking, does the plane have anything in common with the Stolas project that took place between 2012 and 2014, which also attempted to build a hybrid aircraft?
So this one specifically, I'm not familiar with it, but not specifically. I don't know what you mean by hybrid, because there is a lot of definition behind hybrid. But I do believe that if you want to build a plane that is a bit different, we should have cross paths, and I'm sure we worked and met them, because it's a small world of the crazy planes that attempt to do different stuff.
Thank you for that, Vincent. Another question from Onmar is, which Gen AI language SiteGPT is based on?
So currently we're leveraging ChatGPT 4.0. So that's the main driver behind SiteGPT. But we're as well working on integration of other languages. So step by step, we will deploy and onboard others, because we want to be agnostic at the end of the day. As Syensqo as a company, there is not one single answer, and we have teams inside the company that are so diverse, from researchers to plant operators to supply chain experts to communications team and so on. And I'm sure you know that languages have their pros and cons, and they are better one field or the other. So we're keeping a very open eye on it, and now it's just a question of integrating them and giving them to access to the colleagues.
Okay. So far, those are the questions. We can go on. One came in. It was plain with bloated central void filled with helium gas. From Ivan.
Okay, thanks, Ivan, for the clarification. Now, I'm not familiar with it, but I assume with the definition you give here that must have been an amazing challenge to do so, because helium gas is another type of technology that you need to master.
Yeah, another question from Sam. If I'm in Belgium, how realistic is it to get a job in the US locations? Do you help with visa applications, etc., or have a transfer program?
This might be a good question to be responded to by one of our TA partners.
Hi, my name is Giselle. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So if you're in Belgium, you can always apply to applications for the US. It depends on the type of profile, but normally, if we expect that people already have a visa or a work permit for the country that they are applying for.
Thank you for that answer, Isel. Are there any more questions? Feel free to put it in the chat or join with your video, and you can join the whole team here. Let's take advantage of the time that we are with the team of Syensqo in different departments, so we can get all our questions answered. But it's a very interesting presentation from the team. Thank you very much. Let's just wait if there will be more questions.
Sure. Maybe in the meantime, we can share some of our experiences. I know myself and the talent acquisition partners have just joined Syensqo, but maybe some of the TA partners can also mention what being an explorer means to them in this new chapter.
I think that would actually be awesome.
Isel, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. For me, as it's been, well, 2 whole weeks since I've integrated officially Syensqo, for me, an explorer means someone who always looks further than the obvious, someone who is willing to also to help their other colleagues to improve themselves, and to just be open to other ideas on how processes can be, how, for example, in recruitment, to what type of profiles we are open to guide also the hiring managers in selecting maybe better candidates than they would have expected from the beginning.
Thank you. I also saw Fernanda on the call.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, my camera just decided to not work.
It happens.
So I recently joined Syensqo 2 weeks ago. And for me, what is being amazing is, like, as I said, like breaking boundaries and going above the limits, and especially being able to join such a nice project where I can see that on a daily basis, not only supporting with Syensqo AI, but also with other hiring managers that we have. So how we implement that, because it's easy to say we are breaking boundaries, but in reality, how exactly that applies in our daily basis. So it's being a perfect opportunity for me to learn more, and this is like on a daily basis.
Great. Thank you for sharing.
Great. Before we continue, Rose, there are questions in the chat. So first is, how do you typically hire international MBA graduates? Do you focus on specific areas, or is domain knowledge also required? If anyone wants to answer.
Yeah, can any of the TA partners talk about this?
Sure, I can answer if you want. Just let me go back to the question so I know how I can answer the right way. So yeah, we do hire international students. For example, in France during our internship campaign that has launched. It depends on the need of the hiring manager. So sometimes it's more in a battery focused position. Sometimes it's more a chemical position. Sometimes it's a business need. So for example, for more of the support functions like marketing, HR. So of course we will look at those specific diplomas. Sometimes there's a language requirement. So I also want to go ahead and answer the second question that I saw. If you don't speak French fluently, for some positions it is not required. For other positions it is. It depends on where you are situated within our company and within the team. We do have people who are fluent in English. That work really well if we hire for an international team with people who are, for example, also located in Belgium or in the US.
Thank you for that answer. Another question: is there any opportunity for people who has no technical background to join Syensqo? I live in France, but my French level is intermediate level, just finished MBA program. Is it possible to apply to job in France, or has to relocate in other branches of Syensqo?
For the question regarding the technical background, I can already say that I for sure have no technical background, so it's definitely not a requirement. Of course, it depends what role you're interviewing for, but there's a lot of roles that don't require a technical background as well. And regarding the question about the location, can you repeat?
Yeah, so he lives in France, but the French level is intermediate level. Just finished MBA program, and he's just asking if it's possible to apply to a job in France, or should he relocate in other branches of Syensqo?
I think this really depends on and I'm speaking before my turn, so if any TA partners want to add on to my answer here, but it really depends on the role that you're applying for. So look at the language requirements for that specific role. And talk to one of our TA partners. Maybe it's a good idea for you to visit our booth and talk about your situation with one of the TA partners.
Yeah, definitely. We have a few minutes left. Let's try to answer other questions. What are some of the biggest challenges currently facing the supply chain industry, and how is Syensqo addressing them? And the other one might be related. How is the company adapting to changes in supply chain dynamics, such as sustainability and global disruptions?
It's both really good questions. In terms of sustainability, it's always a focus for us, and we have specific goals on our sustainability plan. I can share some more information to a link about that in the chat so you can have a look at it. Yeah.
I also would like to add that we have specific teams who calculate, for example, our CO2 emissions regarding the supply chain in order to reduce them and to be as adaptive as possible to our environmental needs as of today.
And if I can provide as well some context, so there is a dedicated team working on supply chain. I think your question is on the spot. As being a global company, we have for sure challenges when it comes to supply chain, but as well at the same time, amazing opportunities to work with our customers and with our network. So I think that would require a deep dive with our experts there, but I can tell you it's definitely a topic of attention for us. But as my colleagues just answered, it's as well from a sustainability standpoint a great opportunity because it's about dialoguing. You know, if you follow a bit the sustainability topic with the scope 1, 2, 3 that is used now to really assess a footprint, you can only do that if you work with our suppliers or customers. So we are in a world that is exciting about connection, about finding the right way to work with everyone. And you know what? AI can help on all of that. I'm just doing my own advertising at the end, you know?
Okay, perfect. There are no more questions in the chat, but there's one last one maybe before we close. I'm a master's student in France, but I'm interested in an internship opportunity offered in Belgium. How does it work? And is visa needed? We might have answered this already, but if you guys want to clear it out.
Yeah, so regarding the visa or the work permit, so if you are a international student in France and you would like to relocate, you would have to need a new visa to be able to work in Belgium. If you are a student in France with a French nationality or any European nationality, you can just apply and you can start the internship if you are selected.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Any closing messages from the team of Syensqo before we close?
I think the main takeaway here is we will be having TA partners at the booth for the rest of the day until 5 p.m. So feel free to stop by our booth if you have any questions that pop into your mind after this session, or even just to say a quick hi and find out if there would be any opportunities for you.
Definitely. So again, thank you very much to Rose, Vincent, and Isel, and Fernanda, and the whole team of Syensqo. For everyone, please visit their booth if you want to chat with them more. Just remember that all the job offers and all the opportunities that they have, you can also see in the Hired platform until they expire. So just feel free to contact them and check these opportunities. So thank you very
Yes.
much again for the team of Syensqo, and thank you for this very interesting presentation. Thank you everyone for joining. I will send in the chat right now our next webinar that will take place in 15 minutes at 1 o'clock CEST, featuring the main sponsor of this event, which is Decathlon, where you will discover why Decathlon is a top choice for ambitious young professionals like you. You can join the next webinar in the link that I shared. So thank you very much again, Syensqo team, and we'll see each other virtually.
Thank you all for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.